closer and a little less exotic place to the state of Minnesota. Now, I grew up in Minnesota, and actually they're hunkering down for a blizzard there right now. So I just want to shout out to the Minnesota people, and no, we had to wear sweaters today. So, about 20 years ago, I was working at, well, a social service agency in Minnesota, and we were doing very good work, helping to take care of children and preventing child abuse, and we felt very good about that. Well, I had a lot of really well-meaning and dedicated colleagues, and one of the most interesting was Maggie. And Maggie was recently divorced, and she and her kids, well, they decided to go on an adventure, and they bought a farm. Not like a big, enormous farm, a small farm, a hobby farm, but Maggie was being a farmer, and it was very exciting. So every day she would come in and she would talk about what they planted and how she put things up, and she bought horses. And then one day she said, I have a very important question to ask you. Who wants to have organic free-range turkeys this year for Thanksgiving? Oh, I do. Doesn't that sound excellent? She said, that is so good. I've got a catalog, and I'm gonna order some heritage varietals, and they'll be ready for Thanksgiving. Well, that sounded excellent, and we put in our orders. And actually, a couple months later, we even had a chance, we had a retreat at her farm, and, well, we had a chance to meet the turkeys. Now, they were gorgeous. They didn't look like any old boring turkeys. They had beautiful feathers, and, well, they indeed were free range. They were running all over the place, although I imposed a new rule. Do not make eye contact with the turkeys. I just started thinking, they're so beautiful. Who can eat them? But, well, okay, time went along. And periodically at our weekly staff meetings, we would check in with Maggie. Maggie, how are the turkeys coming? What's happening? She said, they're eating. They are getting bigger. Good. I think that's what's supposed to happen. It's going on. It is getting exciting. We put our invitations for friends to come for Thanksgiving for our organic free-range turkey, and 3 days before, Maggie called with the bad news. Said, I am so sorry. The farmer down the road, John Brown, well, he had a heart attack. He's in the hospital, and he can't butcher my turkeys. Sorry, no turkeys for Thanksgiving. I said, well, Maggie, why don't you do it? She said, I'm not gonna do it. You're gonna have to make another plan. So we went over to Ralph's, bought a regular old, boring grocery store turkey, but said, okay, it's happening. And a couple weeks later, we said to Maggie, how are the turkeys coming? They're eating, they're getting bigger and bigger. Oh, this is good. And Maggie put the word out throughout her network, and she finally found a guy down the road who was getting ready to do, well, a butchering time. And he was happy to, well, take her 15 turkeys and put them in line and said, there we go. So, said, okay, we are gonna get turkeys, organic, free-range turkeys. And 3 days before Christmas, the phone call came, come down to the office, quick, they butchered today. I have your turkey. Oh, this is good. This is like, I would have been waiting for a really long time to get this turkey. This is gonna be really exciting. And I went in down the hall to the back room, and there were really large boxes all sitting there. And she went over carefully and she picked up a box and she brought it over and she handed it to me, and whoa! I said, Maggie, how much does this turkey weigh? She said, well, the scale wasn't super accurate, but we figure it's probably about 44 pounds. I had never seen a turkey this size. The turkeys you usually get at the grocery store are 12 pounds or 14 pounds, or a really big one will be 20 pounds. A 44-pound turkey is, I'm gonna tell you, it is really large. And not only was it really large, and Maggie said, well, I didn't give you the largest one. I said, how big was the largest one? She said, we figured that one was about 56 pounds. Oh my goodness, she saved up for somebody special. Well, I took it and I peeked in, and it was the biggest turkey you've ever seen. But not only was it really big and it was really huge, but it still had, like, the neck was kind of attached and all connected. And then I looked and there were like little feathery things still sticking out. And I'm like, excellent, Maggie, this is great. Like, how much do I owe you? And then she said, well, remember we said it was probably going to be like $1.50 a pound, and I wrote her a check for $60-some. Remember, this is 20 years ago, for my turkey. Said, here we go. And I took that box and I carried it to the car and I drove it home. And by the time I got home, I was almost in tears, and I brought it in, and my husband says, how's the turkey? And I handed it over to him, and he said, wow, that is the largest turkey I have ever seen. Holy cow. And I said, and the neck is still on, and there's little, I don't know what they are, but they're like things poking out. Well, luckily, my husband had grandparents who had a farm, and they had poultry. And so he had helped to butcher chickens and turkeys in the past. And first he explained to me, oh, well, you know, after they cut off the turkey's head, and then they have to, well, you know, you have to be careful. Sometimes you wear goggles, because when you cut it off and sometimes flopping around, and there's like the blood is flying and the wings could go and it could poke you in the eye. But once you do it, you drain the blood out, then you get boiling water. And then you take a turkey and you dip it in like for 45 seconds in the boiling water, and then you pull it out, and the feathers kind of loosen up. And he said, so that's what they've already done. We didn't even have to do that part. And they're going, oh, thank God, there we go. But he said, but then you'll notice those little things picking out, those are pin feathers. He said, the way you get pin feathers out, it's kind of like popping a pimple. You take it and you put your thumbs on either side of those, and you kind of dig underneath, you find them, and then you poke it. He said, you know, like a big sliver, and you poke those out. Well, by this point, I was about ready to faint. And I went in the other room and left my husband to poke the pimples out of those pin feathers. He got them out, and then he said, I wonder if it'll fit in our oven. Okay, that hadn't even occurred to me. I have never seen a turkey that couldn't fit into an oven. What do you do if your turkey doesn't fit in the oven? And so we did it. We got it ready, and we put it in, and we shoved like a little extra. And if you put it kind of a little bit catty corner, the oven door shut just barely, half an inch more. He said, well, maybe we could have like cut it in half or something. And then I said, how long does one cook a 44-pound turkey? Well, we looked up all this stuff. Actually, I called my mom. She had no idea. And we put it in and we started cooking. Well, about an hour before our guests finally arrived, the little pop-up meat thermometer thing gave us the thumbs up, turkey done. We opened up the oven, brought it out, put it out, and set it on the counter. This was still the biggest. Now, this was the biggest roasted turkey that I had ever seen. And then, here it is. Company is coming. We thought, we better take a taste. So my husband got out his grandfather's carving set, the ones made with the deer antlers. He said, this is appropriate, and we cut a little sliver. We both stood there and said, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, and took a taste, and wow, oh, it tasted not like anything you'd ever tasted. It tasted delicious. It tasted beautiful. It was tender. It was fantastic. Our guests were so happy to eat this beautiful, organic, free-range turkey, and so were we to eat it for the next 2.5 months till the last of the turkey was done. Now, it was delicious, it was good, but the next summer when it was time to have that conversation, Maggie didn't bring it up. her whether she was going to raise organic free-range turkeys again. And we didn't have it again, because the truth is, one time buying organic free-range turkeys from somebody you know was surprise enough. Thank you.